So for this lesson, I'm going to be showing you how to use a chisel to make a notch out of your piece of material. We're going to put on our safety glasses first, and then we're going to mark our notch on the wood. I'm going to make it about 1/8 of an inch deep by 1 inch and 1 inch. So we're marking out an inch using our square, capturing that line. We can then go to that line again, mark out 1 inch, match up our square with that line, again, mark out 1 inch, and then capture that line, square. Now that we have those two lines and our notches, we can connect the dots, make our square mark, and again we're going to be going 1 inch, 1 inch by 1/8 of an inch. So what we need to do is we need to hold our material, line up the square on our line, mark out 1/8 of an inch, and make sure that's square. Again with the second one, 1/8 of an inch. You'll see here that we have a little bit of a divot in our square. So what you can do is you can flip the square, line it up again, and then follow that line with the section of the square that does not have that divot. So all we have to do now is connect these two marks. You can do that with this side of the square. If you know that this section of your wood is perfectly perpendicular to the edge that we're going to be chiseling off, you can line up that section of the square as well, and then mark that. Of course, since we're using chisels, we're going to have to put this into a vise. You want to make sure that the section that you are chiseling out is not held within the grippers of the vise. That way you have access to all the different sides of your marks. You always want to line up your markings and choose a chisel that matches as closely as possible. So in this instance, we will use a 1 inch chisel since we're making a 1 inch mark. The chisel is very sharp. We've already looked at tool safety, so I'm not too concerned about that. Have your chisel. I'm going to go and grab a mallet. There are a couple different types of mallets. You've got wooden headed mallets. These create a dead blow. A rubber headed mallet will have a little bit of a bounce to it, depending on how soft it is. Both will work perfectly fine. I prefer the wooden one, so I'm going to go ahead with that. What you're going to do is you're going to start off by lining up your chisel with the mark. Make sure you are perfectly straight, hold it in place, and you're going to give the chisel a knock. What that's going to do is it's going to create a wall that you can chisel into. You're going to do that again for the other two sides as well. Give it a knock. Line up the other side. Give it a knock. Sometimes 2 knocks. Now, what we can do, now that we have our main border wall set, what that's going to do is you've broken the fibers so that instead of going in and chiseling out areas or chiseling in, you're only going to go up until where those fibers have already broken. And then we will remove a little bit, come back in, push the wall down further, chisel in, push the wall down further until we get to our full depth. What we do want to do before that though is make sure that we have our walls set on the depth as well. You can see there I already started to chip out a little bit of that material. It's loose, which is good. Now, since this is only 1/8 of an inch, this isn't going to take us too many steps down into the wood, but you do need to remember that you're never going to pry away with the chisel head. That is going to wreck the chisel. You also don't want to come inwards first. What we're going to do is we're going to knock this outward towards the outside of our mark, and then we can come inward. You will see here very, very closely that I'm only removing a very small amount of material. I am not going for the full depth at the same time. Once I reach the wall, you can see I can remove my chisel. Again, we're not going to pry up. That's going to break the chisel, flake it off. Now, we're going to continue to do those steps from before. Deepen our walls. You can see now I'm giving it a couple knocks. Maybe I'm trying to go a little bit deeper. Of course, we're going to go away first. Then we're going to come inward. Okay, feel a little bit of sticking point. We're going to break that off. Get that out of the way. Come back in. I'm going to remove a little bit less material this time. Bring it all the way to the back wall. Remove my chisel. Get that material out of the way. Remove my chisel. Again, we're not prying the material out. You're going to come into the wall, knock it out till it falls off. We have a little bit of material back here. Set our chisel in, bit of a knock, and then we're going to come into the wall very carefully here until we see that that material is loosened up. Okay, seems to be connected. Break it off. What you'll now see is that we've got our full border and our full depth, but it's a little rough in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my vise, and I'm going to very carefully shave into it, making sure that the bottom of the chisel is flush with where I want it to be. And now you will see that we are perfectly flat. And that's how you use the chisel to make a mortise in the side of your piece of material.